welcome. My name's Ivo, and this session is really a one-day workshop in 2 hours. So at the very end, we will probably try and make something very quickly. All right. We've been doing this session here now for 5 years, and people find it really useful. But it's just an introduction into. We have a workshop starting tomorrow for 3 days here in Amman. So what you really need to do is to try and find a workshop for at least 1 day. But anyway, you'll get an idea of what MOJO is about. So my background is in television. I trained as a journalist and I worked in television for more than 30 years. And I worked for Current Affairs, for Foreign Correspondent, 60 Minutes. I travelled the world for many years making stories, features, investigative stories, and documentaries, everything really. Now I work at the university. About 10 years ago, my father got sick and I stopped travelling, and I now work at the university where I'm in charge of a course called Media Industries, and it's in the Bachelor of Media and Communications, and I'm developing a 3-year course at the moment, and part of that course is mobile journalism, of course, but it looks at a whole gamut of different types of media application and platforms. So we're trying to determine what our media industry is, and nobody really knows. So today is an introduction to what mobile journalism could be. So MOJO is it's digital storytelling. It's based on the smartphone, but it's not. It's my MOJO, which I've been teaching now for about 10 years, 11 years, is not technically driven. It's not techno-determinist. It's based on storytelling. So storytelling first and technology second. So it's really important because video, one of the difficult things about video is time management. So what you need to do is you need to actually determine whether this is going to be enough. Is this enough to tell my story? And the only way you can determine that is by understanding your story. So today I'm going to talk to you about storytelling, and then technology, and then we're going to make something. All right? So you need to understand your story because time management is so important. And if you're my boss and you're sending me to Africa to do some stories about lions, I can't do them all on this, because if I do, I'll be lunch. I'll get eaten. All right? So you need to then have a DSLR with a long lens. So really MOJO is about understanding the story. It's about understanding the story, and the story will determine the technology. Very important, okay? I'll talk a little bit later about investigative MOJO and investigative stuff. All right? So I have to go quickly through here, but I will put my slides with ARIJ, so you'll be able to get it all after, because 2 hours is not enough, all right? So I have to go quite quick. If you have any questions, please ask. All right. MOJO for me did not start with this. It started with my belief in democratizing my skill set. And back in the 90s, I began series. I had quite a senior job in television, and I had a lot of power. So I began a series of different TV shows where ordinary citizens got an opportunity to make their own programs. Okay, so MOJO for me has been a 30-year development, all right? It's not just something that happened because the iPhone was developed in 2007. Of course, it's different now, because in the old days, when we asked citizens to come and be involved in television, we still did the editing. We in television did the editing. The great power of MOJO is you can do the editing on location. And real diversity doesn't happen when you do what they did at the Arab Spring, when you do. There's no diversity in that. CNN grabbed that. They wrap it around their own journalists, and diversity is gone. Diversity only happens when you finish your own story. You understand? As soon as you give your story to somebody else, you lose a little bit of yourself. All right? I know, because I was an executive producer and I killed lots of people's stories, all right, by making them better. But it took their soul out of the story. It took their own sense of who they were out of the story. All right? Today, we access our news on the mobile everywhere. 46% of people access their news in bed, 32% in the bathroom, on the toilet, and 42% on public transport. So every day, 2.3 billion people look at their news on the toilet, right? So that doesn't say much about our news, really, does it? But that's what happens. So it's a whole ecosphere now, whole ecosphere. I introduced the first MOJO workshops in Myanmar, where the country went mobile only, mobile first. They didn't go to computers, they went mobile first. So today, 90% penetration in Myanmar. In the Arab Spring, it's very interesting, right? Anybody from Egypt here, from Tunisia? Yeah, right. Well, lots of my friends who were in the Arab Spring, thought it was great. You know, they did, but what they said, they were citizen witnesses and not citizen journalists. They were there, they snapped something and they uploaded it and other people used it, right? So what this is about and what MOJO is about is taking user-generated content and putting it together to form user-generated stories. You understand? Investigative and also user-generated programs. If UGC plus UGC gives you UGS, user-generated stories, then user-generated stories plus user-generated stories gives you user-generated programs. Very important difference. So, and look what happened. More journalists were put in jail. Morsi came into power. A year later, there were more journalists being, so really being a citizen witness is different to being a citizen journalist. Big difference. The difference? Well, the difference is that a citizen, CNN will tell you that everybody in the Arab Spring was a citizen journalist. Why does CNN say that? Who knows? CNN says that because this footage, user-generated content, because they get free footage and they justify the use of free footage by calling it citizen journalism. You understand? It's a political term. So what we want is stories, right? And what MOJO's is about telling stories. We want good stories that are saleable, and story is currency. Story is currency. And story is diversity. If you create your own story, it is far more diverse. So you need to know how to put it together. Editing is really important. Every journalist today, I work with a lot of journalists around the world in 30, 40 countries. They need to know how to put video together and how to edit their own stories. It's very, very important today. And I'm surprised how many journalists there are who can't do this. Editing is really important because editing is digital writing. Okay? We used to write with a pen, and now we take and when we put it together, we edit it together, it's like writing. You understand? So we need to know to edit. When I worked for Foreign Correspondent and I was travelling around the world making stories before I was a teacher, the best cameramen that I worked with were the ones who worked in the bureaus, in the Middle East, China, Russia. Why do you think? Because in the bureaus, they used to do their own editing. So you shoot, and then you edit. And you go, oh, I forgot his close-up. You never forget that close-up twice. So editing is so important to learn for two reasons. One is diversity, and the other reason is so you learn visual storytelling. You understand? It's important to learn to edit. And now you can just sit there and go like this and do your own editing in your own time. All right? People say to me, but video's been around a long, long time. This is me. I was having a cup of coffee in Denmark. we were doing a workshop, a 3-day workshop, and we were having a cup of coffee at the end of the day, and we heard the police. So I ran around the corner, and there was a murder. And I started filming. And you could say, well, anybody could do that. You could do that with a camera, with a phone, with anything, right? This is the difference. The difference is that this is me, you can't see it very well, editing the second update of the story in 5 minutes. The second update. And sending it off to the network. And this is the camera crew from the TV station who are still pulling the cables out of the car. And they haven't filmed anything. So if you know how to use this, I'm not saying it's better or worse. If you know how to use this, you can be really effective. You understand? We were doing the second edited update while they were still wondering how they could buy our footage off us. So that's the difference. The difference is what you can do in the field immediately. And also in investigative journalism, you might use this, because probably you're all investigative journalists, you might use this by working with citizens in a particular region where you can't go, or you can't be there for 6 months. So you have citizens. In Australia in 2003, we had terrible bushfires. And I got 4 people who lived where the bushfires were to film for me for 3 months. And after that, we used their footage to make an investigative documentary. We filmed some of our own. So this is how you can use this with citizens. Does that make sense? All right. I'll just move on. Not everything has to be guns and murder. I'll show you a little story. And no, I'll show it to you after, because we mightn't have time. I'll show you this story. One of the advantages of doing this, using this new technology, is that you can do a lot of stuff on your phone. Here's a story made by Al Jazeera, and it uses techniques that we will actually talk about today. Let me just show it to you. It's very short.
This vault is the backup of the system that we have globally.
So instead of narration, they're using very strong text.
Brazil, Mexico, India, Zimbabwe, Azerbaijan. When you're in the vaults, politics don't matter. What matters is keeping the seeds safe.
I think this must be the most special place on earth.
Now what I'll do is I'll show you a story I made at the airport in Myanmar, which is more a news feature later on, yeah? And I'll show you what you can do very, very quickly, sitting at an airport and recording your voiceovers in the toilets, right? And it's a story that's 4.5 minutes long, what was made in about an hour, just sitting around at the airport. So I'll show you that, but we don't have time. Is it more difficult? Is doing video? Who has experience in video here? Not many. A few. Yeah, a few. Stick your hand. Yeah, that's good. Good. Is video more difficult? Yes, of course it is, because you have many different planes. Print is you write something, you make a quote. You write something, you make a quote. Right? Video is very much the same, except I can't ring you up and ask for another quote because I need to have pictures. So time becomes very, very important. So knowing who you're going to film and why you're going to film them is very, very important in video. You understand? That's going to be your biggest enemy, time. So, but video is multi-planar, all right? So it has many different planes, and that makes it much more difficult to do. It's a bit like doing this. It's a bit like trying to do this. You know that thing where it's very hard to do, to hit your head and turn your... Well, video's a little bit like that, all right? So much more difficult to do. Before you say anything, before you do, think about story. Story is your first thing to think about. Most people will come to me and they'll say to me, I know this character, I know this person. And I say, yes, yes, yes. But what's the story about the person? Very important in video, and I know you're all journalists maybe, very important in video to understand what your story is, because you cannot go out and film everybody. There's no time. You have to know who you're going to film and when and what. Very important. The biggest mistake that journalists make is thinking they can do everything still. There's no time. Okay? So I have this is my little toolkit. And it's scrap, right? And I ask all people to think about the story, think about the character. If you know what the story is, you know who the character, who's in it and why. Then you know, and the resolution. The next thing is, how is the story going to unfold? What is the structure of the story? Actuality. What am I actually going to film? Yeah, I've been making stories now for 35 years, and I still use this. I still use this same thing. And production, what are the logistics? So you need to plan your story. The more planning you do, the more you'll be ready to accept the really wonderful stuff that you get in the field. Character. I'll be very quick here. You need someone to tell the story through their eyes. If you tell a story just with narration, it's like radio with pictures, right? You need to tell it through somebody's eyes. Very, very important. So you need to find someone to tell the story through. And a lot of journalists will go out and they'll do a narration and get some pictures, and that's kind of enough. Not really. And you need an event. If you've got an event gives you a journey. So the event could be a riot. It could be a road accident, whatever. You need an event. If you can find an event, something happening, then that can become the journey for your story. Right? So video works best when it's centered around events, which gives you currency. Events give you currency. It's told through a character's eyes, someone who's involved, yeah, and who has something to risk. So nothing has changed. That's still the same as when I first became a journalist and I first started making stories. Those things are still the same. So the principles of storytelling are not thrown out the window because we now have this incredible device. Okay? And in video, they're very, very important. Okay? So, and the journalist's job is to design a structure around these characters and these events to make sure the story unfolds properly. All right? And that's the MOJO's job. And MOJO's job, because MOJOs work in the field on their own often, and they fix the story in the field and send the story from the field. This job is much more difficult because you don't have the professor to talk to. You don't have someone to ask about this. So you have to have in your head a plan. All right? I'll move on a little bit. This is the way. This is a typical structure that I use for video. All right? Which is a beginning, a hook, a middle, a climax, and a resolution. Okay? I haven't got time to go into this, but I normally spend quite a bit of time describing this and explaining what it all means. But today, it's just enough to say, as a video journalist, as a MOJO, having a structure, a 5-point plan, is really, really important. Not to restrict you, but to give you more freedom. A plan gives you more freedom. Okay? So here we go. To understand the relationship between your story and the audience is really important. Currency gives your story significance. So if you've got some current moments in your story will have more significance. You all know this because you're journalists. Proximity impacts significance. How close is your story to your audience? Impacts significance. Prominence. How prominent is the person? These things are very simple but very, very important to consider. All right. So this is normally a very long discussion about storytelling, but we don't have time today. But it's very, very important for you to consider these few little steps. And I think it's so important to have a structure to understand what your story is and who your characters are and the way that it will play out. It's very, very critical. Otherwise, you'll run out of time always. Tools. Nobody ever talks about sound first. Sound is always left till last, so I'll talk about it first. Today, you can get really, really expensive tools. You can have expensive microphones like this. If I give ARIJ a list of equipment with prices on it and put it on their website, would you all like that? That would be helpful. Yeah, I'll do that. You can get really expensive microphone. Yeah? Yeah. Sorry. Let me just grab something here. Just a minute, please. Am I speaking too fast? Am I okay? What? Is that a yes or a no? You're a professional. Answer yes or no. It's okay? Unbelievable. You can get a little mic like this, $70. You can get a more expensive one that does the same thing, $300. Why don't I give you a list? Yeah, Amazon? Yeah, I'll give you a list, yeah? I'll give you cheap kit, and middle kit, and expensive kit, all right? Cheap. Very good. If you're within a meter of the person, you get excellent sound. You have to be within a meter. Okay? Very good. Very good for music because you have attenuation. So if the band is loud, then you can actually switch the switches, right? So that's the shotgun mics. I think if you buy a kit, you should have a shotgun mic. You should have one of these. Because if you have one of these, you can actually move. Yeah? Like a mobile journalist. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So you need one of those. You need a light. Because if this room was pitch black, this would be your saving. You would be able to, it's fantastic. Now, you can pay $120 for a light, or you can pay $35 for a light. It doesn't matter. $35 is enough. Because you would only use it when it's very dark, and you would only use it when you are close to do the interview. Does that make sense? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Have I got power? No, it's not charged. Yes, it's strong enough. This one here is strong enough. You can see on this gentleman's face, if you look at his face, you see the difference? See the difference? This is strong enough. And this one is much stronger. This one is very cheap. Well, you would use them for interviews, yeah? And normally you do an interview in an MCU, and to be in an MCU, you're going to be either 1 meter away, or if you have a wide lens, you're going to be this far away. So it's going to be perfect. Yeah, they're done for interviews. I'll show you a bit later. When we start filming, I'll show you. You need if you're buying stuff and you want to do something really good, buy yourself a radio mic. You understand wireless microphones? Who's a journalist here? All of you?
هل جميعكم صحفيون هنا؟
Yeah, okay. This is a radio microphone.
هذا ميكروفون راديو.
Okay. So this has a range of 90 meters.
مدى 90 متر.
90.
90
And it's $200.
وسعره $200.
But it's fantastic because if you put it onto you, and it has a microphone here built in, but also you can plug in another microphone. Let me show you. Just let me find it. Just a minute. Any questions while I look for this? Here we go. Okay. So it has this also. So in here is a microphone. So you can put it just like that. Yeah? Do you know how far you put a microphone from someone's mouth? This is how far. If you go like this with your hand and you put it like this, this is where the microphone goes. Yep. So you can use it like this, but you can also plug in a microphone and hide the cable under here and have it come out here, and it can be that. Does that make sense? $200. Very good money spent. Very good value. This here is a stand, but not for these bottles. Wow. Your bottles are wrong. It fits everywhere in the world except in Oman. Anyway, it's a stand, right? Yeah, that's it. So what I think you need, I'll keep going slowly, and I'll give you a list. I'll give you a list of this. Then there is, and I think they're really well placed. There are gimbals. Yeah? Who has seen these? No? Let me find that other. Anyway, I'll switch this on later on and I'll let you play with it, all right? I have to get the battery up and charged. But this is a gimbal, and this is $150. $150, and it enables your phone to... Except mine's not working. There we go. And so what it does, it stabilizes your phone like that or like that, whatever position you want, yeah? And for $150, it's really good. The reason I like this one is because you can fold it down and put it in your pocket, yeah? Because in the Middle East, if you have too much equipment, you look like a target, yeah? So that's that. Now, if you're at a university where students will bring their own smartphones, and all the smartphones are all a different size, you understand? You can't buy wonderful gear like this, because that's for one size phone. You have to buy stuff like this. Yeah, and this works for any size phone. And it has a really good lens. Now, if I was to plug this in, there you go. So because of the wide lens means it's much more stable. But it also means that I can get closer here and still, normally without the lens, to do an interview in an MCU, sorry, I'm kind of here, yeah? But with the lens, I can get much closer, right? Which means it's much better for sound. Does that make sense? Which means I can get this close and still have the sound. Sorry, I can get that close, which means much closer for sound. So this is really, really, really effective. $200 with the lens. Yeah? And you can put any size phone in there. Yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can use that. And you can even use the camera on the phone if you're close enough in a quiet room. But if you're outside with traffic and everything, you need something like this, because that's a directional microphone that goes into one direction. Yeah? Does that make sense? So, and if you've got the headphones, you can put the headphones up onto the person too. All right? Absolutely. But you'll find these microphones are better than the headphone microphones, but the headphone microphone is really quite good. And so you can buy kits in different values. You can spend $100 and get enough, $150 and get enough equipment to be able to do the job properly. I think you need one of these. I think you need one of these. $50. You need this, $30. And then you don't have to have this. You can have, let me show you, something very simple. I'll have to find it. You can have something as simple as this, this somewhere here I've got one, I'll find it in a minute. You have one of these, $25, but it has a little horseshoe here, so it can take a microphone. $25, $35, $50, and $50. So for $140 is all you need to spend. And I think you have enough to be able to do your MOJO work properly. Does that make sense? So you don't need to spend a lot of money. So apps. There are lots of apps that you can get. Who uses iPhone and who uses iPhone? Who uses iPhone? Okay, down. Android? The rest of you Android, yeah? Okay. Did all of you download KineMaster? Did all of you have KineMaster on your phones? Yeah, good. So KineMaster works on both platforms. So it's very, very good. And it's a little bit different to other edit apps, but it actually does everything that you need. And if you're using Android, I would get KineMaster. If you're using iPhone, I would try all three apps. iMovie, KineMaster,
التطبيقات
and
الثلاث.
where's LumaFusion?
هنالك KineMaster
Uh,
وليمافيوجن.
and one more, LumaFusion, but it's not there.
لكنه ليس موجود هنا على الشاشة.
But we'll use KineMaster today
يعني
because
سوف نستخدم الKineMaster
I haven't got time to show everything. So
ليس لدي
so
الوقت لأعرض عليكم كل شيء.
KineMaster and iMovie are apps for editing.
هي تطبيقات
If you want to do audio and you have an iPhone, the best audio app for iPhone is Ferrite. It's free. Someone made $100 million and then went and developed this app and now is giving it out for free. It's fantastic. So Ferrite. If you want to do advanced camera, Filmic Pro, yeah. Advanced still is Camera Plus. I haven't got time to demonstrate them, but I will give you a sheet that will have all this information and tell you what they do, all right? But this Filmic Pro will turn your camera into a DSLR. Well, almost, yeah? Okay? All right? And Vont, if you're using iOS, then Vont is your good friend. Vont is a graphics app that will enable you to do lots of graphics. But if you're using KineMaster, you can do everything you need to do on KineMaster. You've been using it now for a while, yeah? And you can do really great graphics. I think Arabic writing and the whole thing is on there, yeah? I think. Here is a new app for. This was the iOS app for audio. If you want to do audio only, here is the Android version. The Android version, yeah. So these two. Here is video. Filmic Pro is a camera app for video, and here is the stills camera app by the same people. It's brand new. It's called First Light. So if I was using a stills camera app and I needed advanced features, I would use this one. If I was using a video app where I needed advanced features, I would use this one. I'll show you if I can after. If you do subtitles, I use this one here that does automatic. Well, if I use KineMaster, I make my subtitles in KineMaster. Yeah? Yeah. No, you can't highlight it. Well, I don't know. They haven't developed that
And I
yet.
have to change the text every time I put a text. I have to put that I want this
Oh no,
type of
you
text.
don't have to do. I'll show you.
Okay.
Okay. But here's a. This is for subtitles, and this, if you have a small piece of video, this will subtitle it automatically for you. It does the subtitle automatically, and how close is it? About 95%. Right? So all you do is you go back and change the odd one or two, right? Very interesting. And this is a prompt. Let me show you. A teleprompter. So this is a teleprompter, and this one here, what they do is they record your picture as well. So you can do your own stand-up and read the script as it's revolving through, like on a teleprompter. Now, let me just find one. Nothing there. Why is that?
إذن التليبرومتر هو ملقن النص.
So what they do is they roll up and you can see your face and you can record the words and you can have it so you're recording at the same time and reading the words. And they're really, really excellent. Now, there are millions of apps, but I've only got a few here that I use. These are useful, right? There's 3 different apps there for prompting, 3 different apps for prompting. You have to find one that works for you. But they're very, very useful. This one here works with your voice. It listens to your voice and it goes at a certain speed, at the speed of your voice. And when you stop talking, it stops. When you start talking, it starts. So it's very good. So captions. This here is a studio, a switcher studio. You can have 9 iPhones. 9 iPhones. So you could be recording the whole event and you're switching like a TV station. You're switching and every iPhone is recorded individually as well. Does that make sense? Yeah? So you have the live switch and you can stream the live switch and then each iPhone is recorded individually. Okay?
I have a question for mixed caption. Do you have to record your video through that app in order? Okay,
no,
you could just
you
upload
can just import it into the app.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So all of these apps, you can record videos elsewhere. You don't have to record them in the apps. Yeah, I wouldn't give you that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Not Android.
I
didn't find it here in the
No,
App Store.
it's not. It's only for iPhone. Yeah. I'll give you one for Android. I've got one for Android. I'll put it on the list. Yeah. I know. Okay. So covering the story. So when you're actually if you don't know much about video, then the only way to learn is to practice. The only way to do it, and one of the great things about having one of these smartphones is you can practice at home. So here is your shot selection. This is your basic shot selection. An extra wide shot puts the journalist in sets the location. A wide shot puts the journalist in location. A mid shot is an interview shot if you have someone like an Italian person who's moving their hands around a lot. Yeah? Or if someone is doing a demonstration, you use a mid shot. A medium close-up is your standard interview shot. Okay? And we're starting some workshops tomorrow for 3 days here, and we will do a lot of work in each of these to find out what they mean and how they're different. Right? And a close-up, well, if someone is very emotive, crying, then that close-up is very effective. So I won't go into these now because we don't have time, but I will give them on the list, and I'll give you some more information for each one. Okay, and you can go through them on your own. A sequence. When you film something, you have to think of the sequence. You have to think, what is happening? Here's a simple scene of a man at a desk doing something. To tell that story, I'm going to need at least 4 or 5 shots. Right? A wide shot to show where he is. A close-up to show what's happening. A close-up to show who's doing it. You understand? Remember when we were young journalists, you're all young still, we learned who, what, when, where and why. Remember that? Well, these shots have to answer those questions. It's the same as print. These shots have to answer those questions. Who, where, what, who, all that. So that's a sequence of 5 shots. All right? Very important to think about it. A good news cameraman, who is filming, when they're filming, they're always filming with one eye open. And the news cameraman gets individual shots, but doesn't switch on and off. You understand? They still get the individual shots, but they won't switch on and off. They'll just run around and the camera will keep running. Because you want the sound to continue. Or if here is the accident and someone is crying, and over there you see the father of the person injured with a gun running, you want to be ready to go like this. And you want to hear the sound. So when you're filming a sequence somewhere, still get your individual shots, Still get your individual shots for 7 to 10 seconds each, for 7 to 10 seconds each, but leave it running. So the sound is continuous because someone might say something off camera. Does that make sense? Trust me. Here's for filming with light. Whenever you film someone, the simplest thing is to have the light on the subject. Forget about what everybody else tells you. Forget about what other people tell you. If you're filming like this, it's going to be, can I just have you stand in front of the window? Please. He's going to be dark. You understand? So the way you can fix that, you can go like this, and you can lift him up, right? Or you can get in close. But if you're standing there, and turn around, he's much better, right? So have the light on the person. If it's the Queen, say, please, can you turn around? But everybody else, ask them to turn around. How do you get good audio? How do you get good audio? By being close. By being close is the best way. All right? So the light, thank you. The light from the window, in the direction, the camera, and that's the person. So simple, but your stuff will look much, much better. All right. How long do I hold a shot? I'm sorry, I have to move on because we have to make something. How long do I hold a shot? Well, you hold it for as long as you can. 7 to 10 seconds is good. But sometimes you can only hold it for 3 seconds because something else is happening and you have to get over to get the other shot. But if you can hold it for 7 to 10 seconds, it's good. If I hold a shot for 10 seconds, let's say a wide shot of the room for 10 seconds, why is that better than holding the shot for 3 seconds? Why is it better? Sorry.
يعني بسبب حركة الإيد يعني بالبداية يعني أكو حركة للإيد وبالنهاية أيضا تصير حركة.
Very good. What else? For editing.
To have enough time to edit it.
Yeah. Both of those people are correct. If you hold a shot for 10 seconds, it helps you get a little bit that's steady. It helps you to find something to edit. But it also means you can use 3, let's say there was a lot going on in here. It also means you can use the shot 3 times. You can use 3 different parts of the shot. I might use 3 seconds now, and later on in the edit, I might use another part of the shot for 3 seconds. Does that make sense? It also means that someone might say something, and something might happen. And if you're switching on and off, you might miss that. Does that make sense? Okay. So 7 to 10 seconds is good. But if something is going, get over there. Don't hold it. Ivo said hold it for 10 seconds. Can you wait? No. You have to. When it gets busy, yeah.
But foreign media, usually they tell us to at least to have 8 and 20 seconds, just to make sure that you are in a safe side and you can edit.
Then put 20 seconds. Trust me, I've been doing this for 35 years. 7 to 10 seconds is enough. But if you've got time to get 20 seconds, you get 20 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
Understand? If you're giving foreign media the raw footage, that's why they want the 20 seconds. Because they want more. More is better than less. If it gets busy and something is happening, and a lot of things are happening, and I've seen young journalists thinking, what can I film next? What do I get next? What do I get? And they're thinking, which shot do I get? Which shot do I get? Don't think about shots. Think about the story. What is the next piece of information that I need? Because if you think about shots, there's hundreds of shots. You'll get confused. Think about what's the next bit of information. You know, I've got him. Now the ambulance guy is putting something into his arm at the accident. And there comes the parent. That's the next bit of information. So you know that's where the story is going to go. The parent coming across crying and saying, is he going to live? And what's the next bit? What's the next bit? We're not there, but what's the next bit? What always happens next? The policeman jumps in and stops that person. So you have to be thinking about the story and thinking one step ahead. Does that make sense? Yeah, and you can. Yeah. What's that?
الممارسة العملية بالميدان أمامك لقطتين تحدث بذات الثانية عليك أن تقرر من هي الأولى ومن هي الثانية وإلا قد أنه تحصل على الثانية وتضيع الأولى اللي أكثر قيمة. شكرا.
Yeah. No, you don't decide between the two shots. You decide the story. The story will help you decide which shot is the next shot. I agree with you. But don't think about the shots. Think about the story. What is the next part of the story that you need to film? I agree. We're saying the same thing. Yeah? Yeah. The story will tell you which character to have. The story will tell you which shot to get next. I was a cameraman too for 10 years, so I know. It's the story. You understand? Think information. Think information. What information do I need next? What information? And that will tell you what shot you need. Then you won't miss the shot. You won't miss the shot. Clean sound, B-roll. Okay, let me do a demonstration. Who knows what B-roll is? Who knows what B-roll is? B-roll? Yeah, maybe. Where's this? Let me do a demonstration for you. Where's my... If I film myself here, can I do a little demonstration about B-roll? It's the best way, yeah? So if I film myself, and I won't be, if I film something and I say, hi, my name's Ivo, and I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop in Amman, where we're looking at a whole lot of equipment and talking to a whole lot of journalists. That's what you always get. You always get someone who makes mistakes, who slows down and there are gaps, yeah? And what B-roll does, it helps you. It helps you with those gaps. Watch this. This is the best way to describe what B-roll is to show you. Quickly. Okay. So if you have someone like me who makes mistakes, who gives you lots of gaps, and you have to pull those gaps up. So first of all, we cut that, we delete that, and we go. Hi, my name's Ivo, and I'm taking part. See the gap? Stupid, right? Stupid. Right? So then you have a jump cut. So B-roll helps you pull all that out and cover that up. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so if I have equipment, so what you have now, I'll just quickly do this. Let me do this first. Oh, sorry. Equipment, talking to a whole lot of people. And something about ARIJ. Yeah, we'll do this. I'm being very lazy, right? So what B-roll does, so now we have, and it's not general shots, it's very specific shots to the story. Specific shots to the story, right? Because often people will put B-roll. Watch this. Oh, sorry. Hi, my name's Ivo, and I'm taking part in a MOJO. Okay. And I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop in Amman. You understand? So it's very specific, covers those cuts. Where we're looking at a whole lot of equipment. Yeah? I think that's... Something's wrong with my phone today. Anyway, sorry, we're looking at a whole lot of equipment. Does that make sense? And talking to a whole lot of people, yeah? I'm talking to a whole lot of people. Oops. Jet lag. All right, so you end up making a story very quickly, yeah, in maybe 30 seconds. And B-roll ends up... Hi, my name's Ivo, and I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop in Amman, where we're looking at a whole lot of equipment and talking to a whole lot of journalists. So that's what B-roll does. But you can't sit here and shoot from here. You can't be lazy. You have to go and do the shots properly. You understand? But I was just showing you. So that's B-roll. B-roll helps you highlight what you're talking about. Yeah? But that's why it has to be specific. So someone said general footage. It's not general footage. It's specific footage. It also helps you cover the jump cuts. Okay? I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but it's important. Narration, writing narration. We haven't got very much time. We're going to make something. We'll actually have time to make something, so that's very good. We'll make something in a minute. Narration is the glue that holds everything together. Yeah? The only tip that I will give you about, no, I won't, don't worry, it holds the glue together, and it's you read normally at 3 words a second. So for 10 seconds, how many words of narration do I need, roughly? For 10 seconds, how many words do I need? If you read at 3 words a second, 30 words, right? So you can work out quickly when you're working fast. And it's pretty close, you know. I read between 19 and 21 words a second. You can work it out for yourself, yeah? But narration is the glue. With B-roll, with one interview, B-roll and narration, you can make a story, okay? And B-roll, when I have the proper workshops for 2 days and I send people out, I said, when you think you've got enough B-roll, get some more. So when you think you've got enough B-roll, get some more. Okay, let's make something now. I'll put all the slides into a document and give them to ARIJ, and you can download them from their site, and I'll put some more information, all right? Now, can you all get up? Can you all film on your camera, film a wide shot of the room? A wide shot, come on. A wide shot. This is a practical exercise. So what I want you to do is film a wide shot. A wide shot of the room. No? Nobody wants to do it? You don't like doing practical stuff? What's going on? You love it, right? So when you do, can I just say one more thing? Everybody, when you do a pan, watch this. Watch this. When you do a pan, at the head of the pan, you might hold it steady for 3 seconds. Wait. You might hold it steady for 3 seconds. Then you pan, and then you hold it steady at the end. Why do you do that? Because it gives you 3 shots. Yeah, that's a pan, yeah? So, yeah, you can do both, yeah. You have to normally know when you're going to do that. There's no time here to talk about that. That's quite complex. But yes, you can do both. Yeah? It doesn't matter. You actually... If I was following this man, I would go this way, right? Because he's walking. Then you can follow him back. It doesn't matter. But you don't want to make your pans like this. You understand? You want to if you do a pan, you want to actually make it for a reason and quite short. Does that make sense? Otherwise, it looks silly. All right? Okay. Now what I want you to do is to film a close-up of... Can you come here? Can you come here? Maybe bring your chair. Just bring your chair. Just quickly. If you just sit there. And what I want you to do is to film... Just turn the chair a little bit this way. Just wait. Okay, just sit there. And what I want you to do is I want you to film a shot of... Where's your phone? Have you got a phone? I want you to film a shot of playing... Open your phone. Playing... Why? No good? No battery. Can someone with a phone? Oh, here. Here you go. No battery. Always remember to charge your battery, right? So you're playing, just having a look. So I want you to film a shot, listen, of 7 seconds or something, of what's happening. Of what's happening, right? And then I want you to film a shot of who's doing it. Who's doing it, right? Yeah, 7 seconds. And then I want you to film a wider shot of where it is. Does that make sense? That's probably better. Okay? And when you do headroom, when you're filming someone, don't make the headroom like that. See that on the screen? See the headroom? Just have a little bit of headroom. See, his head is just above the screen. You'll see it in a minute. Okay, so can you film those 3 shots? What's happening, who's doing it, and where he is or where she is. Can you do that, please? Thank you. Thanks. Quick. Who's doing this? Are you all doing it? Oh, very good. Relax, dude. Relax. Is everybody doing some filming? No? It's a practical workshop, so you have to do some filming. Please. What's doing it? Who's doing it? And the third shot is where it is. Wider shot. Wider shot. That's it. You're all very quiet. Normally people are screaming and yelling in this workshop.
The name of the app, B-roll.
Which app?
The name.
Which one?
Which app?
B-roll. B-roll.
Oh, KineMaster. KineMaster. Are you Android? Android?
Android, yeah.
KineMaster.
Okay, thank you.
KineMaster. KineMaster. Yeah? Yeah? Got it? Good. Yeah, good. We'll just wait a few minutes. Very good. We're gonna make something. You should come to the 3-day workshop where you actually learn something. I know. This is too quick. Okay? And now what we want to do, now what I want you to do, everybody, what I want you to do is to learn, is to use probably the front camera, and I want you to do this. I want you to do a stand-up. Yeah, and I know you don't like doing stand-ups, but you have to do a stand-up, and you have to say something like this. Hi, my name's Ivo, and I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop in Amman. So you have to say your own name. Hi, my name is whatever. You have to film yourself speaking into the camera. Use the front microphone, the front camera, and you have to be nice and loud. You can't do it like this. You can't say, "Hi, my name is Ivo," and I'm whispering into a mic. Passion. So can you all do that, please? Do we have a texter? Ah.
Hi, my name is Stephen. I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop.
Very good, Stephen. You get top marks.
Me doing mobile phone stuff. I'm losing my sight. Struggling to look at these little things.
Where are you based?
London. My daughter can make films of it on the phone in about a minute.
Sorry? I'm good, thanks.
She seems to have mastered it without even, and she hasn't even got a phone. She's just borrowing my phone.
Now, I'm not sure very good, Stephen. Now, what I want you to do now, is everybody done that? Now what I want you to do is to record one voiceover, but I want you to record it as video, not as, and you put your hand, I'll show you, watch this. So you go to your camera, to your video, put your hand over the lens so it's black, so you can find it easily afterwards and you'll know it's voiceover. And you have to record this one. Now I'll just do it from here. We are a group of journalists learning to tell digital stories. And there's a second one as well. So you start and stop, and then, because we have time, we actually have time to do this. And then you do the second one. Smartphones helping journalists become mojos. So there's two of them. Now, narration is often recorded in a quiet room like this, quiet room. So when you're doing it now, you won't be able to all do it in here because everybody will be doing it. So I'll give you 3 minutes to record those two. Remember, you put your hand over the lens and you record it as video. And the reason you're doing that is because you want all of your media, audio and video, to live in one place. So it's easy to find, and you're making it black because then you can easily identify which one is audio. Do you understand? All right. So, or at least record the first one. So can you do that? Can everybody record that? We are a group of journalists learning to tell digital stories. It doesn't matter if it's if there's people in here loud, but you'll understand it needs to be quiet. Okay. That's it. Go ahead, please record that. You want to record it with your voice. Good. I'm not sure how much time we'll have because I've got lots to show you still. But we'll put just a couple of shots down. I'll show you how to do. So for those of you who are interested in doing some editing, if you go to, and I'm sorry it's very quick, but we have no time. So if you go to your KineMaster, you go to your KineMaster app. Can you all follow me now? Go to your KineMaster app, press KineMaster, and you should have this. Something like that, yeah? Can you all follow? You press the orange circle and you choose a format. choose 16 by 9. And you have KineMaster. Okay, can everybody see this? Okay, so to import, this is your timeline. To import footage into the timeline, you go to your media folder, So I'll do that for you. And then you go to all your video. And then I think I've got here, maybe this one. You press the shot that you want. And I think it's that one. No. Yeah, it's this morning. Oh, don't worry, it's just... Okay, here we go. So you press the shot. So then you get the shot in there. Hi, my name's Ivo, and I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop in Amman. So then I would go like this. I would tap the shot, and then I would drag the yellow handle, right? Until I start. Hi, my name's Ivo, and I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop in Amman. And if I want to make it bigger on the timeline, I can pinch out like this, right? I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop in Amman. And then I can tap that, and I can drag that in, drag that there, drag that, or I can hit the scissors up here, and I can trim. That's the playhead. I can trim to the right of the playhead, and there it is. And now I have... Hi, my name's Ivo, and I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop in Amman. Okay? And then if I want to put the voiceover, the first voiceover, I go back to media, the media folder, and I go back to all, and I think it might be this one. If I hold it, I can listen to it. Yeah. So I'll tap that in. So now we have this. I have this. Right, perfect. So I can now cut that. I can chop that to the left of the playhead. And I should have something like this. Too much. So if you chop too much, you can just drag it back out. Right? It's always there. So I can now lift the volume. See the volume button? Now I can lift that up, all right? So what I can do then is I can take the wide shot of the group and put it up as B-roll, right? The wide shot of the group. To get B-roll in KineMaster, you go to a layer, because B-roll becomes a layer. So there. And then you hit media. Yeah? And then I can put down, just a second, layer, media, all, and some B-roll, maybe, I don't know, maybe this. To move footage around, you just press on it. You press on it and you move it, right? So that's creating a story already very quickly, okay? And yeah, I'll show you. So to make that full screen, you just highlight it and you just extend it, full screen. To mute this video, you touch the video, go to audio, and you mute it, right? So, all right, so you can see that very, very quickly you can make the reason my voice is low is because I had my hand over the microphone, all right? Otherwise it would sound like the other one. But the other thing I want to show you is here, you can put your name on. You can put your name on and it's got very, very good text. So if I go to layers again, layers, go to text, and I can write Ivo Burum. Yeah? So it has text. Yeah? The text can be made bigger or smaller. Yeah? You can make it bigger or smaller very easily. You can turn it. You can actually... You can change the colour of the text. You can put a background on. And in this case, we can put a black background on, and we can make the background translucent. And so I've put now a black background on, and I've made it across the whole screen, and I've made it like that. So very, very quickly, you can put text on there. You can also put many, many different layers of text very, very quickly. One of the good things about KineMaster, its text features are very strong. Okay? So, and then all you do is shorten it. How long, when do you put someone's name up? When do you put someone's name up? After 1 second. After 2 seconds. Not how long, but when do you put it up? After 2 seconds? You put somebody's name up when they're talking, when they start talking the first time. Not in a wide shot, but when they're in a mid shot or a close-up and they're looking to camera, you put their name up. How long do you keep their name up? How long? Who said that? 5 seconds. Wrong. How long? 2 seconds, maybe? Who else? Depends on the person's name, right? If the person's name is Alex Stavropoulos from Greece, so how long do you have it up there? Till you read it 2 times. You understand? Because if you read it 2 times, then my 86-year-old mother will also understand. Does that make sense? We have to make sure that we don't marginalise older people in this whole thing. So the answer to all this, and trust me, the answer to all this is what's real. You put it up when they're talking to camera, because if you put it up when you're talking, put my name up when you're talking to camera, it's crazy, right? So they have to be talking to camera, you have to know it's them, and you put it up so you can read it twice. All right, let's just do a bit more. So I know you haven't got time, so then you have this. Hi, my name's Ivo, and I'm taking part in a MOJO workshop in Oman. Right? Now, the other thing that you can do is another way of doing narration. Narration is this. Watch this. Let's say I want some narration right here. I want some narration right there. If you press this microphone here, and you can see that you can do narration, and then I hit start. This is a test, a narration test, and I stop. Okay? So now I have some narration, and I have the narration here. This is a test, a narration test. See, because I don't have my hand over the microphone this time. So I'm going to shorten. test, but you can't have two people talking,
ولكن لا يمكن
right?
أن
So watch this.
يتحدثان بنفس الوقت.
So what I do this is I tap that
أنا أنقر على
and I go to this feature here.
أذهب إلى
So you have to play with this or do the long workshop because there's lots of things to learn. And that feature, and I press that.
الكثير لنتعلمه. إذا لنتعلمه أضغط هنا.
Okay? So now you get this. I hope. Hi, my name's Ivo, and this is a test, a narration test in Oman. You understand? So for a journalist who's working very, very quickly, this is a really good tool. You can have a whole lot of pictures, someone saying something, you pull the sound down, and then you put your voice narration in. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions? Just a minute. Yeah. Mike. He doesn't have the mic.
Microphone.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
إذا كان لدينا لقطة طولية بالموبايل كيف يتم معالجتها في برنامج الكين ماستر اللقطة الطولية بالموبايل لقطة طولية. وسؤال آخر إزالة العلامة المائية في الكين ماستر يعني إذا في طريقة لإزالة العلامة المائية. شكرا. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. First of all, the vertical shot. When you start, you can just put a vertical shot in there, right? You just put it in. But when you start a new project, you can choose to make it a vertical project. Understand? If your Instagram, right? Yeah, or here. But if you're doing this, you can still put a vertical shot in there. It'll just be black and black. It's up to you. But you can do you can change in the project. How do you get rid of the watermark? You have to take out a subscription, which is I think it's $30 a year. A year. Okay? But if you're using Android, KineMaster is a very good app. Yeah? I don't get any money from KineMaster. But any other questions? So let me show you again quickly because we're just finishing. Let me. Sorry.
بعض البرامج.
Just a minute. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
اوكي ما بعرف هاي البرنامج انه مثل بقية البرامج انه اثناء ما احنا بنصنع الفيديو رح يطلع اثناء الحفظ شعار البرنامج في آلية بنخفي هيدا الشيء.
No. Yeah. Yeah. So let me show you how to actually finish a video, right? So let's finish a video and I'll answer that question. So this is our video, right? Now you will have the logo until you take out a subscription. Yeah. I know. But they have to make money too, right? So how you finish your app is if you press. Where's my glasses? You can do it a few different ways. If I press this arrow here, watch. You then have the opportunity to choose the resolution. Because you know when it's on in the timeline, it's not really a video. It's ones and zeros. It's computer language. until you make it into a video. You have to render it into a video. So now you choose whether you want it 4K, 1080, 720, whatever, and you choose the quality. The quality. Yeah. Or Facebook is here. Well, it's actually here. This one. The early Facebook was 360, 640 by 360. Today, 480 is okay for Facebook, 720 is okay for Facebook, but 360, 720 is 1280 by 720. Huh? Okay. But you see down here, it tells you how big the file is going to be. So if you're somewhere on location with a really bad connection, you would make a small file and send it. Do you understand? And then later on, when you get back to a good connection, you just redo it. You just re-render it and make it a big file. It's always there as your original file. Yeah, and you can render it in many different resolutions. So if you're on location somewhere with very bad connection, but it's an important story, you send it up in 360. In 360. And in 360, you can email it. You can even email it. And then what you do, so let's make it 720. Then what you do is you press export. And what it does, quickly, see how quick? And there it is, it's made it into a video. And then I upload it to my camera roll or gallery. Gallery or camera roll? Or Facebook or wherever I want to put it. Does that make sense? Yeah? By pressing this. So I put it, normally I put them in my I put it normally in my camera roll, yeah, or I leave it there. But you can go to Facebook, you can go to, but you have to render it as a video. Now, your original file is still there. It's still there, and you can change it. You can do whatever you like to it. Keep working on it, and then I'll do the same again. All right? Sorry? Sorry.
أحيانا يكون لدينا مواد فيها صور لضحايا ونحن نحب أن نغطي على صور هذه الضحايا. كيف نسويها في الكيمستر؟
Okay. Yep. Got you. I have to find it, but in KineMaster you can blur and you can change the voice as well. Okay? So yeah, in KineMaster it has a blur function, two different blur functions. One mosaic and one just blur. Yeah, and you can change the voice as well. No problem. It's made for you. KineMaster is made for you. Oh. I have to find it, just a minute. It's very easy actually, but I have to find it. I knew you were going to ask me this. Just a minute. I'll have to find it for you. It's very, very easy. The voice changer is here. The voice changer is there. This is a test, a narration test. So the voice changer is really easy, right? And you can make it sound like a chipmunk even. This is a test, a narration test. All right? And the blur is, let me find, it's one of these. Sorry? No, it's not the vignette. It's, which one did you say? No. They've moved it around. It's the new edition, but it's good. It's not in the filter. No. I'll have to find it. I'll put it on the list of stuff for you, but it's really simple. They've just changed all the buttons. This is the latest, and so they've moved it, but it's in here. Just hold on 1 second. No. Yeah, layer, effects, and basic effects, and then you'll find the blur. Right? Layer, effects, I'll show you again. That's it. So layer, yeah, effects, and then basic effects, and you have the two different blurs, and then you can just put them on. So you can choose where to put it, and you can choose the strength of the blur or the weakness of the blur. Just be careful that mosaic blurs, you can actually find the person's face in a mosaic, so it's best to use the other one, the blur. That's it, time. All right, I'm very sorry, we have to finish. Yeah, one more.
Is there a way to use the AirPods like as a wireless mic and in doing interviews?
Wireless mic?
Yeah. How can we use the AirPods?
Oh yeah. Well, in the same way. Yeah. You can use them in the same way. In the same way, but in the same way as a wireless mic. But I don't use AirPods normally, right? So I don't advise it. But have you got AirPods?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would actually, you know what I would do? I would buy this. I would buy that microphone, that Rode Wireless Go, and you would find that you would never have to change it for the next 10 years. All right, so it's a very good investment, and you can use it for all of your interviews. You just put that on, even for a sit-down interview. You understand? And it's so clear, and audio is the difference. The audio is the difference. MTV have made it so we don't mind, you know, a wobbly shot, but we hate bad audio. But you need good audio. So I know you can use your little, you can use it, definitely you could use it. But if you were to buy a microphone for $50, your audio is going to be so much better, or get one of these radio mics. It's going to be so much better for you. I think that's all we have time for, yeah. I hope that's okay. I hope that's all right.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
About editing tools, I want to add an information about an application which is quick. It's really nice because you have a template prepared and you can work on it to tell stories in short time. So
yeah.
Maybe you can give it like
yeah, no, I don't use quick. I don't use it because I don't like templates. Because what I'm trying to do is to teach people to make their own stories and have their own reason for telling stories and tell them in their own particular way. See, I think each one of you is really important, and each one of you will tell the same story a different way. Does that make sense? And so therefore that's very important. So I stay away from templates. If you want really, really simple apps, I'll put some really simple edit apps up there for you. But trust me, KineMaster is really, really simple, right? You just have to use it once or twice. And don't forget, we're trying to do here in 1 3/4 hours what we would normally do in a whole day. So if you feel a bit confused, it's because it's normal. You understand? It's like walking over hot coals, right? And so this is just an introduction. That's all this is, right? To get you thinking. You need a lot of time with editing because there's a lot of things that I can tell you about editing. Why do you make an edit? When do you make an edit? When not to make an edit? Lots of things to do, to talk about. And KineMaster is very, very simple. So I would say if you're using Android and you're using, then KineMaster is probably the app for you. I'll give you another app called Power Director. If you're using iOS, then KineMaster or iMovie. iMovie is free. Very easy to use. But in this exercise, I can't talk about both. There's no time.
يحدث عن كلا التطبيقين، لا يوجد متسع من الوقت.
Last year and the year before used to train us last year and the year before with iMovie, yes.
Yeah.
So do you recommend us to
Yeah,
go with
iMovie,
both of them are fine?
iMovie is fantastic, but in a quick workshop like this, I can only choose one app.
That's
and
true.
When you've got Android and iMovie, I have to choose one that works on both.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, yes, sir.
Kini Master, does it deal with Arabic texts? Yes.
Yes. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for coming. I hope it was okay. I'm sorry it was quick. I'm very sorry it was quick. There's just so much to learn.